Oh, hello everybody. This is Amadeus Mozart taking a break from my hibernation to tell you the history of Christmas.
History of Christmas? I want to hear it.
Okay, horsey, it all started in ancient Babylon where a king there claims himself to be the god of the sun. Then, there was this one guy who killed him, and his wife claimed that he would be reborn. His wife explained that Nimrod, the sun god, will enter her stomach, and by then she would give birth to the newborn baby king named Tammuz.
Tammuz? What does this have to do with Christmas?
Wait, horsey, let me get to that part. Anyways, this is where a Christmas tree would appear, and along with that, presents will come. But there's another type of story to the Christmas tree, too. This also originated in the ancient Norwegian eras or the Icelandic eras where there was no harvest in the wintertime. People were freezing and starving to death, but there was one green tree out there that stood up to life when there was almost nothing in the winter. And that's how people gathered around the tree and decorated and stuff to give thanks to the tree for being alive for them when there was no harvest at their time. But back to the stuff with the moose. This also traced forward to ancient Rome, where they also celebrated and named it Saturnalia. It wasn't until Christianity came along in the medieval Renaissance era where there was a pope who didn't agree with their religion because it had to do with the Antichrist. So, he replaced this Saturnalia with the birth of Jesus, and instead of being the sun god, he named Jesus the birth of the Son of the God, so they could convince the Romans. They were sure convinced, alright, but they still celebrated the day of Son of God like they did with Saturnalia, which is get drunk, do stuff that they wouldn't do when they're not drunk, and get into fights. This upsetted the Christians and the Pope so much, but so much that they decided to ban Christmas through the rest of Europe, and whoever tried to celebrate it would be punished.
Punished?
Yes, punished, and they were punished to pay 5 shillings, which was a lot of money at the time. This went on unto the new world of the Americas that the Pilgrims and the Puritans discovered, in which they both didn't celebrate Christmas too. It wasn't until the early mid-1800s where immigrants from all over the world went to the United States, and Christmas was celebrated again. And Alabama, which was the 22nd state ever to be created in the U.S., was the first to celebrate Christmas. And since there was a whole bunch of immigrants in the U.S., they all had different opinions of Christmas. One of them is Santa Claus, which is the modern-day Christmas we celebrate right now. He was actually a saint, who was named Saint Nicholas de Myra, and he gave gifts to the poor who couldn't afford any gifts and other richness at the time. Then later on, they came up with names like Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas, and Papa Noel, and a whole bunch of other names that equal Santa Claus. Santa Claus was also mentioned in an 1800s poem named "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" wasn't the only poem that represented Christmas, though. There was another poem, too, called "A Christmas Carol." Then in the 1900s, Christmas became commercialized, more of a commercial thing where everyone buys each other presents from the stores. Along with that, Coca-Cola changed Santa's suit into its original colors, red and white. So whenever you think of Christmas, just remember, there's no right or wrong answer whether to celebrate it or not. If you do celebrate it, you could celebrate it as Jesus Christ's birthday, you could celebrate it commercialized, you could even celebrate Saturnalia if you must. And that is it for the history of Christmas. Horsey? Where are you, Horsey?
But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer, you better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh, and did I forget to mention that in Mexico they open piñatas instead of opening gifts?
Santa is coming to town.